Another week of college football and another top 10 team gets exposed. Kentucky versus Ole Miss, two amazing elite defenses clashing together, and we see that gosh darn result. Now, a little bit of terrible coaching decisions coming down to the end, a little bit of Jackson Dart going full blonde in his noggin there for a second, but all together it relates into the number 6 team in the nation falling to Kentucky and really making Georgia's win look even better. So we're going to dive into a few things, look at the immediate aftermath, look at some of the game stats, facts, and things of that nature, as well as look at some of the rankings for both of these teams going into it and see how we could have looked at those rankings to know that Ole Miss might have been in a problem, that Ole Miss might have been a fraud, because now we know they are. Before we get into fraud control and fraud watch, I do want to say I appreciate y'all for watching these videos. Please leave a like on this video if you like it. Just like if you don't like it, comment what your college football team is doing, what their record is, and if they're going to make the playoffs. Okay, so let's just get right into it and kind of lay the groundwork for the game that we watch. That's my favorite thing I like to do. Strictly talk about the game first, and then we can kind of go into different stats, facts, and different things, look at how people's opinions. So coming into this game, I thought it was one that I needed to watch. I was also kind of switching past between the Minnesota-Michigan game. That game is actually still on as we're playing. It looks like it's about to be a very, very fun day of college football just going off of this. Let's talk about the beginning. Let's talk about the first half. Let's talk about Kentucky are really standing in there, and I think are running a little more efficient offense, especially when you talk to the heavily touted Ole Miss. The fact that they were able to move the ball, not efficiently, but they were effectively able to move the ball, effectively able to put scores up, similarly to the Georgia game, right? They're just able to grind it out and find a way and continue the drives going. Shout out to Vandergriff for standing in there, being a team player. When that backup quarterback, I forgot his name for Kentucky, but when that backup comes in for his packages, it seems like he's locked in there. It seems like he's explosive, and it adds another element to the offense. We'll get back to that package at the end of the game. But starting off right now, I like the way that Kentucky did the things. I like the way Kentucky attacked. Ole Miss seemed to be mostly business as usual. The only big thing that I would say about watching Ole Miss, and Ole Miss fans correct me, people who've been watching Ole Miss all week correct me, but my goodness, Kentucky was dialing up some defense and coming at them in some different ways. And I don't think this is an Ole Miss problem. That's why I said, Ole Miss fans, y'all gotta let me know if this is an O-line problem, if this was, has been an issue, and they just, hey, this is their first time playing some beefy boys. But Kentucky's got some beefy boys. They got some big boy, big bad, big belly, big dogs. I mean, golly, just mass on the defensive line, just moving around in different places and spaces. I really feel like at the point of attack, the way that they were moving those big bodies kind of confronted Ole Miss, and it's something that we saw from Virginia Tech and Miami. We'll get to that too in a separate video, probably a little later on. But I've been very entertained by these college defenses, right? They're not just simply defenses. They're not just simply, hey, we're here and we're doing this, right? It's a lot more of another level when it comes to these things. Yeah, but that defensive line was all that it was cracked out to be. And let me not, understate Ole Miss's, defensive line. It was everything that was cracked out to be from the Kentucky side. Ole Miss had a lot of athletes you could see on the defense too. But honestly, you were starting to see Kentucky open up that defense a lot more, starting to get a lot more, success. And it was interesting to see from the full game perspective. Now, all that doesn't really matter, because all that really matters is coming into the fourth and coming into the final drive for Kentucky. Driving down the field and getting that insane touchdown, a fumble into the end zone for a touchdown to go up 3 against Ole Miss. Now, a lot of time was left on the clock. After that. And Ole Miss being a potent offense, as they showed that they were potent on this drive, converting this crazy, what was it, like 4th and 7? Lane Kiffin just allowed, Lane Kiffin was just, he was full Lane Kiffin. I don't know how else to say it. He lived and died by Lane Kiffinisms. You could see on that final drive after they scored a touchdown, they're coming down, and I think on another 3rd and long, when, hey, we should be focused on making this field goal better. We're here. We're close. We're down 3. I got Jackson Dart rolling left. He's like rolling left, runs to try to get a first down. It ends up fumbling. Now, it was offsides. It was all good. But just the fact that Lane Kiffin run the ball, dog. Let's take this at 3rd and long. Y'all had that crazy, miraculous connection on 4th down. Let's take it home. Let's kick the field goal. They get lucky. Offside. Great. All right, guess what Lane Kiffin does again? He tries to throw the ball again. I am going to be extremely hard on coaches. And we've been hard on the likes of Deion Sanders and other ones. And we've been hard on these coaches for terrible decision making when it comes to the crunch time. And Lane Kiffin, it has been known to be a crazy outside thinker in the world of college football. Well, him trying to do that twice, I think the football god said, hey, eat a sack of nuts, dog, because now that you have this chip shot with all of these kickers this weekend hitting these crazy 55, 60, 50, I'm like, college kickers, somebody give these boys some scholarships, please, because they hitting everything except the Ole Miss. Except the Ole Miss field goal kicker who misses a chip shot, and something that could have simply, smoothly, and easily gone straight to overtime turns into Kentucky Fried Chicken coming in and god dang stealing one. And now that we talked about what has happened, oh my God. Tyler and Siski, by the way, Tyler and Siski are just started their live stream. If you watch college football stuff, please watch them. They're close to Ole Miss. They're locked in with Ole Miss. The sky is falling in Mississippi right now. And I don't mean to say that losing Kentucky to Kentucky is a problem, because Kentucky showed how adamant they were. Kentucky showed that that defense is the real deal. And that Vandagriff, for as much as we don't call him a crazy breakout, amazing, elite quarterback, he can handle the job of getting this team to a win to the best of their ability. Showed it against Georgia, and then we finish it here. It just took a little bit of Lane Kiffin and Jackson Darting to make sure that they went ahead and win by 3 points. I don't know how you have that much time on your clock, an offense that had been as explosive as it been repeatedly. You get that big fourth down catch, and you end up with nothing with time still left on the clock. I don't know. I have no idea. And I feel bad not watching Ole Miss, and everybody wanted to crown them and crown them and crown them. And I told y'all at the beginning of the season, I don't trust Jackson Dart. And I don't think this comes down to Jackson Dart. What I'm saying is that that's not a Heisman quarterback level of performance. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the going crazy and producing all these offensive points is great, and I wanted Jackson Dart to be great, but letting your team get in that position, that run that I saw that apparently seemed like he had no wherewithal for the down distance in the situation of what's happening to make sure your kicker gets a better result. I'm not mad at Jackson Dart, because Jackson Dart showed me what he was. He showed me he's a good college quarterback. He's a good to great college quarterback. Nobody who can really take over the game in a significant way for this team, especially when you talk about a Trey Harris who was supposed to be this elite weapon for him, right? And he was elite. He looked like a great weapon. He was doing phenomenal things. But this was a team that was touted amongst the top 5 in the nation, obviously at number 6, but it was a team with the highest rankings in defense and offense, number 1 explode. Like, with all these sorts of rankings, and just like I alluded to at the end of this week, this is the week that is really going to be tested. All of this is cool. All the posturing, and we score all these points against a Boise Technical College State institution of Chattanooga. It don't really matter if you go against a real SEC defense. It doesn't. Georgia showed you that. I don't think Lane Kiffin got the memoir. I don't think he got the memo. He was treating them like it was Kentucky. He was treating them like he was playing Kentucky at home. You can't treat this Kentucky defense like you're just playing Kentucky at home. You know what I mean by playing Kentucky at home. I mean that basketball school that's been a basketball school in the SEC comes to town, usually beat them like a bongo. This Kentucky team's got some thick boys and some thick business, and they allowed to turn this into a lower scoring game, and that it wasn't even a low scoring game technically. I mean, 2017 you hit under the under, so low-ish scoring. But if you're not going to put points up and you're not going to force this Kentucky offense to be something that it's not, you're playing to the strengths of the Kentucky defense. And that's why that Georgia and Kentucky game was so close, because Georgia has not been an explosive offense. So it makes sense for them to go close. They have a great defense, no explosion in their offense, so it makes sense for them to cut this close. It seems like Ole Miss did everything to make their explosive offense not be explosive for Kentucky to keep up. I don't know how you let the Kentucky offense of all things keep up with your supposed explosive offense and top 10 defense, but it happened. I don't know, man. Lane Kiffin did. Shout out to Kentucky. Y'all played a great win. I don't want to understate that what Kentucky did and how they did it. Let's look at some of the reactions and things. A big storyline, and this is going to start transfer portals and fake injuries. That's what's going to kill college football, because these fake injuries, I really don't care. I think it's kind of funny and strategic. But it is getting a little too obvious. There needs to be some. We got to throw flags, dog. We can't just be signaling the people to drop it like it's hot. So this is what I'm saying. The football gods they just weren't on their side, man. I don't know how other else to explain it other than football gods just not wanting to be on the way, the place, in the space that it should be. Continuing on, we got the man Bordeaux. Shout out to Bordeaux. I'm not sure if y'all know, but Bordeaux almost had a heart attack last time Georgia played Kentucky, and in an amazing way, in a crazy fashion, finally, it seems that Kentucky gets a big-time, big boy win on the road. So shout out to him. If you love college football content, you know about him. Let's zoom in here. Let's read some of these comments. Then we're going to get straight into the box scores and things of that nature. It says, Benjamin Watson says, Ole Miss out here flopping all over the place. Fake and cramp, bro. We see you. Brent Murphy says, Kentucky knocks off Ole Miss 2017 Oxford. First time since 1978. Kentucky looked Ole Miss and Georgia in the eyes. This is crazy. Boy was on our neck about Kentucky, and Kentucky went to Ole Miss and beat them at home. What a win for Kentucky. Obviously, the world was not on Kentucky's side. And because I was watching different things, please leave me in the comments and let me know what I missed and what I missed out on. If I'm doing some things in the wrong way or the wrong fashion. Here we go. 18 for 27 here for Mr. Jackson Dart and 1 touchdown. This by no means is a bad day at the office, but this is not what is needed if you're trying to be this explosive offense, right? And I hate to put all this notion on Jackson Dart. Dude, I mean, 18 for 27, 261 touchdown, didn't get any interceptions. How can you be mad at this guy? I'm not mad at him. I'm just expecting more out of a guy who was leading FBS in receiving yards, touchdowns, completion percent. Like, this was the top guy, the top billing guy. So you're either telling me Lane Kiffin might just run a very, very quarterback-friendly offense that puts points in their hands, or that he's just not that remarkable of a quarterback. I don't know, but it's one or the other, because this is about unacceptable. This is what's really unacceptable. 92 total rushing yards, 93 total rushing yards as well from the Kentucky. But we know who Kentucky is. You know what they do. You know how we grind them down. They went for this 3-back approach. Obviously, one not being as effective as the others. Nothing was easy for Kentucky. Like I said, I told you the running game kind of started to open up. It wasn't in a major way. I don't want you to think that this was an amazing offensive explosion by any regards, right? But I think it was done just enough to get the job done. But when I talk about Ole Miss, who's supposed to be this explosive offense, I don't like this. I do like that Jackson Dart is out there putting his heart on the line, give you another 22 yards, but you really only had one back that was doing something great here. Obviously, Jackson Dart's going to suffer from sack yards and things like that. Trey Harris, he's what's written on the 10. He showed up what he could and where he can. 11 for 176, 16-yard average and a touchdown. But it just seemed like they are a lot more top-heavy than I think we were giving them credit for. And those shiny weapons from Ole Miss really shine bright, and that's kind of the result there. See if we can get some team statistics here. We're gonna just break down these few things. So talk about the first down game, 14-22. If you got more first downs, you win. And like I talk about, and I'm gonna end this right here because we got more videos to talk about. We got more games to react to. I want to get in and get out. Please tell me in the comments, am I off on some things? Am I tripping? Do I need to watch more Ole Miss games? Huh? Do I need to watch more Kentucky games? Well, tell me, because I haven't been watching them at all. I'm just telling you what I saw when I seen it. But the third down margin first of all, fourth down efficiency, 2 for 2 for both. That's crazy. But I tell y'all, third down efficiency is going to tell the tale of the game 4 for 16 compared for 1 for 10. Both of this is terrible. Both of these are terrible efficiencies, but I want 4 of them things more than I want 1 of them things. Being 1 for 10 compared to the 4 for 16, I'm telling you, this is way worse. I don't know how else to show it to you or quantify it. But 4 third downs that break the will of the defense, of this top-rated defense, will do a lot for you as a team, and we've seen it. So y'all watch my videos. I'm telling y'all, watch third downs. They mean everything in the game. Some coaches will tell you there's 5 plays. I think those 5 plays are all going to be third down. It's either going to be a third down completion or conversion, breaking the defense will, or giving the defense that spark to get the offense off the field. Make sure you check that out. Obviously, passing was pretty neck and neck. Jackson Dart went ahead and threw for more of them things. They even rushed for 1 yard, less of them things. And then looking at the penalties, that was huge for against Ole Miss, especially when we got to the end. Like I thought, that was more Kentucky being offsides, but it just seemed that when they were getting explosive and getting drives going and getting things cooking, a hold here and offsides there, it was a little bit confusing to see this team that was, within the top 10 battling with what's it called, the different small, and obviously 8 to 53, 3 for 30. It was definitely a lot more smaller things. So it's interesting there. And then of course, whenever you control the possession, you control the game. And even when it comes down to these small games, you can see that as well. Shout out to Kentucky, great win. Shout out to Ole Miss. You did it again. You're overrated. I didn't want to believe in you, and you gave me a reason to not believe in you. I appreciate y'all watching this video. Like this video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it. We'll see you next time.